Hey, what's up everybody? Dustin here, ATEM Off-Road. Hope you guys are all having a good day. In this video, we're gonna be dropping the fuel tank out of my 97 Jeep Wrangler TJ and replacing the fuel pump. So let's get to work. Now, whether you're here because you've diagnosed a failed fuel pump or maybe you just want to replace it because you've got a lot of miles on that fuel pump and you just don't want it to fail on you. The good thing is that it's super simple to replace the fuel pump on a Jeep Wrangler TJ. Anyone can do it. So now is going to be a great time to start thinking about how you're going to remove the fuel in that tank, whether you're going to siphon it all out or just leave some of it in. I got about less than 1/4 of a tank, so that should be okay to work with when removing the fuel pump. I'll start by removing power from the vehicle by disconnecting the power cables on the battery. And then on the driver's side of the tank, there's going to be 3 connections to separate. We'll just remove the evap line. It just pulls right off of the metal tube there. The fuel line is easy to separate. You just squeeze the center tabs and pull off the line. And then on the electrical connector, there is a red safety latch that you will have to undo. I just used my screwdriver and popped it out and then was able to unclip the connector. Then we can remove the fuel cap and the 4 screws securing the filler neck to the body and kind of set that out of the way. There are 2 clips securing the plastic cover to the wheel well. You can remove those and then pull the plastic out and away so you can have access to that filler neck. Then I'll just remove any of the electrical connections or cables surrounding the gas tank so we can then unbolt it. There's going to be 4 bolts using a 13mm socket. We'll just buzz those off on the back. You don't want to mistake the 2 with the long studs, as those are to secure the straps to the skid, so we'll just leave those alone. I'll then secure the fuel tank with some wood blocks and my floor jack, and then on the other side of the tank, we'll locate the 3 other bolts and remove those as well. I put the fuel cap back on the filler neck, that way there's no debris or anything falling down into the tank, and then just guide the filler neck through and around the frame, and then you can start lowering the tank down to the floor. And you can see that when I was lowering the jack, the tank slipped off and hit the floor. That's okay. If you want to prevent that, you can have someone help guide it down as you lower the jack to the floor. Now it seemed like a good time to clean the top of the gas tank off, as there was a lot of debris and just dirt buildup over the years. So I took it around the corner to my garden hose. We just pressure washed it off with some of this Purple Power degreaser and then let it set in the sun to dry. It was a pretty hot day, so it dried pretty quick. Now this is the new fuel pump that I'm going to be installing onto this tank. I picked it up at my local auto parts store over the counter. It had a 24-month warranty on it, so just went that way. It is sold on Amazon. I'll list a link in the description box below. You can check that out. But overall, we're going to unbox it and set it up for replacement. Very minimal setup for this fuel pump. We just need to make sure the arm is secure for the fuel gauge. Remove the yellow cap for the inlet fuel, and then just make sure the fuel filter is secure. Now here I am putting the rubber gasket just to show you that where it's going to go on the fuel pump, but I did find out that it was easier to set the gasket on the tank first and then slip the pump through the gasket onto the tank to make the seal. So now that the new fuel pump is ready, we can start removing the old pump. We'll just remove the inlet fuel line by squeezing the 2 clips and pulling it off. And then the plastic clip will still remain on the end there. Need to get like a pick or something and just pick that off. And then you can snap it back into your fuel line because you will be reusing that part. Now this is a fuel pump removal tool set. You can get this over the counter at your auto parts store. And we're just gonna use the 1 tool to use to remove the cap, securing the pump to the tank. I just set the tool over the cap and secure it in place. And then I'll come behind it with a breaker bar and an adapter to 3/8 and just kind of crack it loose so you get some good leverage on that cap. And once it's loose, you just unscrew the cap and then remove the cap. You do want to inspect the cap, just make sure that it is still good. If you need a new cap, I'll leave a link in the description box below. And then you can pull out the old pump and the old gasket, and there will be some fuel remaining inside the pump. Just go ahead and pour that back into the tank, and then you should be able to set that off to the side, and then we'll start working on getting the new pump in. Now is a good time to think about cleaning out your tank if there's a lot of debris or something inside there. Did notice that the filter came off of my pump. I just reached in there and grabbed it with some needle nose pliers. There are procedures on cleaning your fuel tank If it's pretty bad, you might want to consider doing that now. Now, when installing the new pump, you just want to make sure that the O-ring is on the tank first. You can see that the O-ring gasket is on my new pump, but I do end up transferring it down to the tank and then pushing firmly down onto the pump so that it makes a good seal. Now, you're going to have to hold the pump down because there are some springs inside of that pump body, and they will try to spring upward. So you want to hold that down while screwing the cap on and securing that pump into the tank. Now, there is going to be an arrow on the new pump. You're going to match that in between the two hash marks on the tank, and that's how you know your pump is in the right orientation when it's being secured to the tank. And there you have it. The new pump is installed into the tank, and now all we have to do is reconnect the fuel lines, get everything back installed as we removed it in the reverse order. All right, folks, so that's all I have on the fuel pump replacement on this 97 Jeep Wrangler TJ. Now, I do know that some of these TJs had a recall on some of these pumps, the newer ones, from back in 97. So if you do end up needing a fuel pump replacement, double check your VIN with the dealership, and you might end up getting a free fuel pump installed, which I did end up doing that on our green TJ, which was a big surprise for me. So other than that, I'm not going to install this tank yet because we're going to be doing a high clearance skid plate underneath. It's going to raise the gas tank up about 1 inch. I'm going to be doing that in the next video, so stay tuned for that. But as far as getting the tank back in, it's all going to be in reversal order as we removed it. So that's going to wrap it up. I'll leave all the links in the description box for the tools and the pump that I use in this video, and we will see you guys on the next video. Have a good day. Peace out.